Hi everyone, welcome back to my next Graphic 45 brand ambassador project. And today I'm taking out my Botanical Tea Keepsake collection. Now this is the one that comes with the metal die set. But if you've got the other one, because there are two different versions, one with the dies and one without, this will work for any of them. And in fact, today's card will work for any collection that you've got. Because what I wanted to do with the Botanical Tea papers is, the papers are so nice on both sides. I wanted a card, because you did say you wanted more card ideas during my ambassadorship this year. So I've come up with a card where you can see both sides of the paper at the same time, so you're not covering it up. And it's a nice little 5x7 one. And as I said, this one comes with the floral die. So I'm going to be using the floral die for the card today. But if you've got the other collection, what you do have, I've taken them out of the pack, ready to have a look at, are the ephemera pieces. So you could use these instead of the die set. And as I said, most of the collections now come with the ephemera set. So you can make this card, as I said, with any collection, just have any of the papers, 8x8 or 12x12 will work, and some ephemera pieces. So let's put it aside. And let's bring in the card. So this is the 5x7 card I've come up with. So it's really, really nice and easy. And then you open it up, and as you can see, you'll see the other side of the paper as well. And with G45, such good quality, it does stand up. So how are we going to make this card? Well, first of all, we need our cardstock. And just, you know, this trimmer's had a good way. I've had this for many years now. So I'm going to cut this now at 7 inches. And I want my card to be 5 inches. And I've gone for a 1¼ inch strip here. And the reason will become obvious when I come to do my papers. Now, the papers I've used is this lovely green one. So I managed to get a 7 inch by 6 inch piece from this, which means this now is a 6x7. Let me bring in another piece. So I just trimmed my paper at 7 inches tall and cut it down the middle. So now I've got my 6x7. I'm going to cut 1 inch off the end. So that's all my cutting done. And I'm now going to bring in my scoreboard and my scoring tool. And I'm going to bring this one. Now, this is a textured cardstock, so I want that on the outside. So that's facing me. And I'm going to score it at 5 inches. So I've created my 5x7, and I have this 1¼ inch. If you wanted to make that wider, no problem. You wouldn't be able to get 2 out of that strip. You'd only get 1. So with my measurements, as always, I'm going for maximum paper usage. And I'm going to score this, and I'm going to score it, really burnish it down. And then fold it back so I get the texture on the inside. I want the texture there. Okay. Now, just to add a bit of interest, I'm going to bring in some vintage photo today, just some browns. And I'm going to... So this green is going to be on the outside, although I could use that, except my flower is with the pinks, so that's why I've gone for the green. I've flipped them both over now. The green on the main panel, and the pink, which is the back, is going to go on that strip. There we go. So that's going to go there. And this pink strip then, which is what's left over from that 6 inch, is what's going to decorate that strip. So as you can see, paper maximising once again. I mean, we don't want to be wasting our graphic 45, so let's make the most of it. Okay. Whilst I'm here, I'm also going to do the card blank. So I'm going to fold that back and just do the spine. And this 1 1/4 inch flap, I'm also going to ink. Okay, and I can put my ink aside for now. Now you may notice I didn't do this piece. The reason being, it's going to be covered by our papers. So what I do need now is some nice strong double-sided tape. You could glue it if you feel happier, but the tape just holds it instantly, so that's why I've gone for the tape. There we go. Just burnish that down. So remove the tape. And then make sure this is the right way up because it does have text. I'm just going to slide that into that crease and make sure it's nice and straight. There we go. And then I'm just going to fold it over and onto that paper. And that's how you make your base. And then I'll use my glue this time. So you can see how this would work with any collection. I did think maybe of doing a Christmas version with the Deck the Halls, which is coming out, or is out depending when this video goes live, with one of the nutcrackers going up the side. That'd be nice and simple from the ephemera pieces, or if you want to fussy cut in. But what does also work with this are, to go into the keepsakes again, and of course you've got your card ideas there as well if you wanted more ideas, are the journal card sheets. Now I don't know if I've taken them out and already, nope, not yet. I know I've already used one of them cutting up for a different project. If I bring in my trimmer, if you wanted a totally different look, what you can do is take a 6x4 portrait one, and because you do get two, you could stick that on and you can decoupage some of these little elements up because you do get two, so you could have some nice dimension there. But because this collection comes with a die set, I want to show you how you can incorporate that. So I've used then one of the Patterns and Solids sheet to make my flower, and some of the cream cardstock which I'd left over as well for the foliage. Now of course, using the Pattern Solids means my flower is going to match perfectly, and you can do it with the pattern side or the plain. I've gone for the plain. So what I've done, in the die set, you get 3 sets of petals. Now I'm doing the bare minimum so I can get the most out of my paper, but there's nothing stopping you cutting 2 of these. And just for information, I only use a little small die cutting machine. It fitted through perfectly, so you don't need a big machine either for this one. So from the 3 petals, I've cut 1, 2, 3 of the pink Pattern Solid, and I've just used some picked raspberry distress ink just around the edge, just to add some more detail. I've also cut the... I've misplaced... Oh, no, it's here. The hello from the die set. And it's got a matching outline. So I've cut that as well from the cream. And then some foliage. Let's bring it into shot, that'll be better for you. No, I think it's all out of shot, is it? There we go. So foliage, I've cut a few of the large one. Now that one just cut off, so you don't have to use the whole thing, which I'll show you in a second. So I've got 3 of that one, and I've got a couple of the small one as well. So it depends how much foliage you want. And then you've also got then the little center for your flower, which I've cut out in cream. And bear in mind, I'm only using 2 colors, meant a couple of passes and everything was done. It looks like a lot, but it didn't take a long time at all. But I've used virtually every die that came with the set, apart from the other middle. You've got an alternative center you can use as well. Now, there are people who are much better than me at doing flowers and such, but you can buy tools and stuff, but I just use either my bone folder just to get the corner, or the edges, sorry, not the corners, the edges, and do it like that. But if you haven't, just your finger is fine. And then in the middle, I just bring my leaves up and just give them a bit of a curl. And again, I'm holding my thumb in the middle and just curling things around and bringing it up. So I've still got a flat base to stick down, but everything else has got a little bit of dimension to it. There we go. With the center then, I just press into the middle just to give it a bit of a bowl sort of shape. And then the foliage I don't do anything with. So let's move the dies safely out the way. Make sure I put them back in that package later and don't lose any of the bits. There we go. All right. So before you glue, just have a think about which way round you want these to go. I think that's actually worked quite nicely, but you just keep turning it around and turning this around. That's better. And then just, because I kept my thumb in the middle, it's all still correct. So I'm just going to do that. And as you can see, I just flip it that way so that I know I've still got the same direction when I bring it back. There we go. So that's the first bit. And then we can also glue that back of the centerpiece. And I'm just going to hold it for a second so everything catches. And then this hello, we're just going to put some glue on the back. You could put the glue on your back of your hand like I used to do before I had this little glue press. So I'm barely touching with the glue. And then I didn't bring my tweezers with me. Usually I'd use my tweezers now to try and place this. As you can see, it's not necessary. There we go. So we have our flower assembled. We have lots of foliage. Again, I've just inked the edges with some of the brown vintage photo. Just taken it and just gently gone around some of the edges. Doesn't have to be everything, and not too dark. It's just adding a bit of colour just to tie it all in. Okay, so let's put that away before I end up inking my entire card. So I'm going to add a gem into the middle. I don't do that till the end so that I can actually press down firmly. So glue only in the centre again. And we're going to place it down. There we go. And the reason it's only centre is now I can just put some glue on the bottom leaves and stem, and I can then just lift these and tuck them in. So this bit where I just snapped off the top two, I'm going to go towards the corner. So you don't have to use the entire die cut, but I thought the little ones would also look good down in that bottom corner. So just a little bit of glue on the stem. And we're going to bring this down. Do we need more? I don't think we do. Let's just use these smaller ones. Probably coming that way. And as I said, I can just cut them off if I only want two. And maybe just these two here as well, just to balance out the side here. So I've gone a lot more foliage this time, and just to help this stand out, right here I'm going to use some foam pads, and it's a bit long, so I'm going to cut my foam pad and a little bit of a square as well. Just add a little dot of glue just to keep it down. So maybe this time I want to take it up, or do I want to keep it down? Yeah, let's go over. I did it last time, went over the leaves. Yeah, let's stick to it. Worked last time, let's stick to it. And there we go. That is our card made with botanical tea. And when you open it up, you still get all the lovely paper. So we're making use of both sides of the paper, so you're not losing it. So people don't like sticking it down, so we still have a lot of interest on the inside. So what I could have done was I'll just ink that edge before sending it. And what's great is, of course, you get two by cutting 7 inches and then in 6, but that leaves you with a 5-inch piece on top. And with this card being a 5x7, what you can do, should you wish, is I can find a piece. You can cut a piece of cardstock at 7 inches wide by 5, 6 and a quarter that way. Bring in my scoring board, and again at 6 and quarter on top. Score at 5 inches. Cut that. I think I cut that at the wrong side. Let me see. Yeah, I went 6.5. 6 1/4 is what we want. 6 1/4. You can fold it over, and what you will have is, because it's directional, the wording here, this is the piece that came from the top. So if I bring it all in, you've got a little 5x5 left over that you can use on a 6x6 card should you wish, but you can get all 3 from one sheet. The only thing you haven't got is a piece to go across the top, but you can then make a base by sticking that on there should you wish to use up the other piece for landscape version. So you can get 3 cards from one 12x12 piece. And of course, as I said, you would be able to use these ephemera pieces then to decorate and attach and strengthen as well. So if you haven't got the die set one, as I said, you don't have to worry. You can use your ephemera pieces, which come in the keepsake collection as well. So there we go. That's my nice and easy card idea for when you want to make a card, but you can't decide which of your patterned paper to use because you love both sides. And of course, with the keepsake collections now, it works perfectly with the patterns as solids. So you can have the pattern showing up or pattern on the inside and solid on the outside, and lots of nice muted ones as well, which you can use in this collection. So thank you for watching, and I hope that inspires you to get your collections out. Use your 12x12. Oh, as I showed you, the 6x4 journal cards work lovely as well. Use what you've got, whichever collection, or if you have got this die set as well, here we go. So thank you for watching. Please leave a comment below and let me know what you thought. And if you do have a go, make sure you share in the Graphic 45 Facebook group and mine, which is called Paper Crafting with Paul, and tag me so I can come and have a look at yours. So thank you for watching. See you all again soon.